Hello again, everybody. This is Derek, or AKA Mr. Everything, coming back at you with some more Star Citizen. And we are back at the IAE, the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo 2952, sponsored by Drake. And today's, we're going to be looking at Misc. We're also going to be, I do believe we're also going to get an opportunity to look at the RSI ships as well. So let's go ahead and get into the game. And if you were curious why I had missed a few of the days of the IAE, well, work, you know, that nasty four-letter word. Okay, so we come up on the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo. This is Zenith Hall. We got our obligatory food booth over there. We got our maps. But the big ships that you see in front of us are the Starfarer and the Starfarer Gemini is the one on the left. The Gemini is the one still in military use, and the one on the right is the one readily available for civilian use. Not much difference. Weapons and processing power and stuff like that could all be exactly the same. I think you get additional missile launchers on the Gemini. And of course you're going to see the armament gallery and the component gallery, where they're going to show like engines and coolers and jump drives and stuff like that. But today, for this video, we're not going to look at everything, because the Reliance, right? The Reliance, as an example, is old news. The Freelancer, old news. I used to own a Freelancer way back in the day. Yeah, the Freelancer is like 10 years old. We're not going to be looking at that. You got the Razors. That's their racing ship. We're not going to really be looking at those. We're not going to look at the Starfarers or the Prospector. It's all old news. But I am going to take a look at this Hull A, because that is new to me. And so maybe it's new to you. And also we're going to get down here into the holographic room, and we're going to take a look at the Expanse, the Odyssey, and then the Hull C. I also had already, just FYI, I had already rented a Hull A. So what I'll be doing in a separate video is doing a Hull A first impressions walkthrough. Okay, and all those first impression walkthrough videos are going to go up after the IAE closes. So just keep your eyes tuned. Like, subscribe to the channel. Be sure to hit the notification icon so that you can be notified whenever those get released. Alright, so let's just go take a quick look at the Hull A. First of all, it looks a lot like a Prospector. You might confuse the two at a distance, just because of the shape, the layout, the way it looks. The big difference that you will notice immediately is this has an airlock on the side, but it does not have the prospecting or storage bags that you would find on the Prospector. Now this little gear right there, right, this little section right here, is an extension arm. Okay, let's get off of that. Whoop. Yeah, that's if I point at it, it wants me to rent it. That's an extension arm for this tail section, so that when you extend it, that tail section will stick back you know, a few meters, maybe back to about here, so that cargo boxes can be added to the center part right here. Now I'm noticing that there's a little error here where they don't have the ship on the ground. Little graphical error. But let's go inside. Well, we will do a walk around in my video, but it looks like you got a little chin turret right there. And I do mean little. It looks like size 1 guns. Looks like there might be an airlock on this left side. Well, that's a lie. It's not. That's not an airlock. I think it's just a counterbalance. And then it's got this one large main thruster, which I think is pretty damn cool. Okay, let's go up inside this bad boy. Don't want to rent. I want to enter the ship. Okay. Okay, so this is the cockpit. Fairly spacious. You could probably have a friend stand up here with you if you're feeling spunky like that. Let's go ahead and enter the pilot seat, which is a sit down and spin kind of thing. You got your yoke that appears for your hands right there. Now I've tried powering this on so we could see the displays, but that's the extent of powering it on. Some of these buttons work, some don't. There you got spool quantum drive, and then you got extend cargo spindle. That's that piece I was talking to you about on the outside. It doesn't work. I've tried it. Okay. Nav display on. Nav Yep, those don't work. Maybe that's the nav display. Power off. Self-destruct. I'm sure that's going to get a lot of use. Okay. And then you got these screens back here. I don't know if I'm going to have access to them. Or if they just show me BS for a while. And you got a pretty nice view. And, you know, the HUD is the HUD. But again, come back to the video where I do an upload, where we do a walkthrough and we fly it around a little bit. Okay, over here we have that the other ring that you would have seen from the outside that I said was not an airlock. This is where you store your suit. Maybe your mining suit, or maybe a just whatever suit you have, because this is not a prospector. This is a merchant vessel that carries cargo. Okay, door doesn't open when you walk up to it. You do have to press the open button. And then you see you got your bed right there, some storage, you got your buttons, more storage. This looks like it might be a food dispenser / drink dispenser. And then you got your weapons locker, which actually is a locker. it actually has a door where a lot of weapon lockers on some of the other ships I've noticed are just sitting out in the open. It's not really a locker. You just put the gun in. Okay, and then this would be where you would wash your dishes. I don't think that's an oven. It might be dual purpose. You get a food dispenser, which means you get your paste go onto your plate. Now something I did, okay, it's got a freezer too, which I thought was pretty cool for your drinks. But here's something that it's been bugging me for many years. The cookies, right? You get cookies in your room. In some rooms, you get cookies. And they look like wooden, they look like, okay, that needs to be fixed. It looks like a little bit of the bathroom art is just on the same level as the paint. It needs to be one level up so you could see it. Okay, like this access panel looks good, but that bathroom doesn't look good. All right, but the cookies looked like wooden nickels. They had straight edges, and they looked like they had wood grain and everything. But when you look at these cookies, I know it's something completely not Aerospace Expo, but they've got rounded edges, right? Somebody went in and fixed the cookies. I appreciate that. That's just a little touch of thank you. It's a little touch of thank you. Okay, now we got some knives hanging here on this magnet. That's pretty cool. All right. And then there's the bathroom. Okay, you go into the bathroom. You got your non-mirror. You got your shower and probably your toilet. You got a towel. You got your body wash. But what's really cool, this is the first time I've seen this in any of the ships, the medicine cabinet. I've seen medicine cabinets, but this one actually opens. Look at that. And then you got, you got your birth control. No, what is that? Relief Extra. Okay, and then you got your shaving cream, maybe some fingernail clippers. Looks like some toothpaste. You could, I thought about this earlier. I said, if I had like a credit chip or something like that, I would maybe stick it in there, because maybe if you do get robbed, maybe they won't look in there. I don't know, just something that I was thinking, or maybe put it behind the shampoo. Alright, well, this is not supposed to be a Hull A tour. This is just a quick thing, because I'm going to actually do an extended video where I go through each and all of the different parts and pieces. Let's get out of this thing. Alright, now we don't want to go into any of the Zenith halls. Now, I've done an extended walkthrough of that early. If you want to see a video where I did a ship tour of that, look back on my channel about 10 years and you'll find it. Okay, so we're on the ground floor. This is where the holograms are located. And there's also the I want to call it the Nox, but that ain't right. The Razor. It's their racing ship. Okay. So we come in here. This is where all the holographic images are. I take a look at this. That is a monster of a ship. Look at that. And that is the Endeavour, which is kind of like their science and research exploration vessel. This first part, the part where the engines are, and forward of that, that is a detachable ship from the remainder of this, the rest of the ship. The rest of the ship would stay in orbit around a moon, or, you know, just in an asteroid field or something. And then this other ship would break off and then fly down and land, or go around the system exploring, and then would come back to the primary exploration vessel and reattach. Now, if you look, you'll see these little... Now, understand, this is just a piece of art. Like, think of it like a model. It's not the actual ship. So if you see any discrepancies or whatever on this, just blame the artist. Okay, so right here, we've got a door. That's a doorway. And some clamps. And then if you look over there, you got another door and some clamps. And then you got another door over here. Okay, so those doors actually attach, and they're on both sides. They attach to modules that you would stick on the side. So you would, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Silent Running, but these would be like agricultural domes, or they would be drug, like where you would grow drugs or food, or it might be a mass accelerator to, you know, it could be all kinds of different science experiments, or you could have like the entire thing could be all agricultural, and you could be, you know, moving plants from one solar system to another to replant them on another system, or you could be growing, you know, marijuana or whatever you're doing out in space. You know? Okay, that guy seems like he's really interested. Okay. Moving on to the next ship. That's just a really cool ship. You know, I really dig it. It's just super big, and you know what that means? Super expensive. Alright, so we've got this ship here that I hadn't seen before, and I just want to say this one's snuck in under my radar. This is the Expanse. And it's a refinery vessel. It looks fairly small. If that's an airlock, I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe that's a thruster. I don't know. But you can see the windows, so it doesn't look like it's a terribly large ship. But you take the pods off of maybe a starfarer or a prospector, and you refine the fuel or the ore, and you get it ready for shipment elsewhere, delivery. So you refine all the imperfections when you're out in the asteroid field in another solar system, where you don't have to keep making flights back and forth. I think that's pretty cool. And it looks like a nice ship. Do I want it? No. Not for me. Alright, and this is another one that I think is pretty cool. This is the Odyssey, and I really like the way the engines are laid out. It kind of gives me like a Star Trek feel. I don't know. It just, you know, with nacelles, it just looks really cool. And you can see it's a much larger ship based on the size of the cockpit here. The bridge has got so this is a much bigger ship. But it kind of reminds me of their version of a Freelancer, but they already have a Freelancer, right? So what is this? What does this say? Exploration. Okay. So it has a hangar capable of housing a small ship. A crew of 7. Okay. So this is their version of an exploration vessel. It looks good. I'm fully on board with this ship. Okay, let's move on to the next one, which I believe is the Hull C, which the Hull C is the bigger brother of the Hull A. It goes A, B, C. I think there's also D and Echo, D and E, I think. So the C would be the mid-range one. You can kind of see the boom arm that goes from the front half to the back half. This one is being displayed as being open, which is what the Hull A would do, but on a much smaller scale. And then you can see these like cargo pods right there, and those would be detachable individually. And you've seen, and that each one of these cargo pods is probably about 8 feet tall. I don't think they're about 10 feet tall, but I think they're about 8 feet or maybe 3 meters. I don't know. I'm guessing. But they're basically big connexes that you've seen before, you know, in the real world. And, yeah, so if that's a connex and it's holding, what do we got? 18 connexes per arm. You know, 6 times 3. And then it's got 8 arms. Do the math. Okay, so you got a bunch of connexes. Each one of those carries a, I don't know, a couple of SCU? No, actually, a couple of, I don't think it's SCU. I think it's just U. I don't know. Let's see what it says. Yeah, often called the common ship of the galaxy, Hull C is the most produced in the range, considered many by the most versatile, intended to hit the sweet spot between the smaller single-person transports and the massive super freighters. The Hull C, yeah, it's right in the middle. I like that, while still retaining a modicum of the maneuverability allowed. Okay, so basically it's trying to tell you it'll barely maneuver, but it's more maneuverable than an E. These arms cannot close while they have the pods attached. So you carry it to a spaceport, you unload the pods, and then once all the pods are unloaded, then you can collapse the ship back to its, you know, its compact size. All right, now from here, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a time jump from here, and we're going to go, and I'm going to leave you and come back for the next video where we take a look at the Apex Hull and see if they've got any new ships there as well. So, all right, so I will see you in the next video.